Hey everybody, my name's Kyle and this is a 3-minute throwback. When Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill came out in 1995, I was assistant manager at the Musicland record store. That album enjoyed a lot of in-store play, but since we were in a shopping mall, we had to try to keep the music family-friendly, shall we say. But rather than having to skip the one song on the album that dropped an F-bomb in the lyrics, we employed diversionary tactics. Whenever the song You Oughta Know came on, we'd scan the store for any customers that we thought might be offended, and then we'd distract them right at the moment of profanity. Can I help you find anything today? Worked every time. I was a big Tori Amos fan at the time that album came out, and I really liked how Alanis took some of the same themes and gave them more of a pop rock focus. Now obviously there were a bunch of songs from the album that turned into huge radio hits. Songs like Iconic, Hand in My Pocket, and You Learn. They were terrific earworms. But many listeners, women in particular, were drawn to the rawness in some of the lyrics. Songs like You Oughta Know and Right Through You became pop anthems for female empowerment, and Alanis Morissette became the de facto standard bearer for angry young women everywhere. And although that spirit would in part fuel the Lilith Fair movement in the later half of the 90s, Alanis Morissette never did participate in those female artist-driven festivals. Of course, Jagged Little Pill wasn't Alanis' first rodeo. After a brief stint as one of the kid performers on the Nickelodeon show You Can't Do That on Television, Alanis released a hit pop music album in Canada in 1991. After the 1992 follow-up failed to live up to the success of her debut, Alanis met producer Glenn Ballard and proceeded to reinvent her sound. Interestingly enough, Warner Brothers Music was actually grooming another quote-unquote angry young woman singer-songwriter at the time. On the very same day that they released Jagged Little Pill, they released the debut album from Jennifer Trinan, Cockamamie. It was a little harder edged than Jagged Little Pill, and it was actually the album that Warner expected to be the hit. Instead, Alanis Morissette's success completely eclipsed Jennifer Trinan, and consequently you probably never heard of her. She's worth checking out though, as is her memoir about that experience called Everything I'm Cracked Up to Be. Anyway, as the years have passed, I don't know that Jagged Little Pill has aged as well as some of Alanis' later music. The album feels very much of its time. As much as I love it, I find myself more inclined to listen to the 3 albums that followed it: Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie, Under Rug Swept, and So-Called Chaos. Still, Jagged Little Pill is an essential part of any good music collection. And for true fans, the 4-disc Anniversary Edition featuring demos and live tracks is strongly recommended. I'll link to that in the description below. Once again, my name's Kyle, and this has been a 3-minute throwback on Track by Track, music reviews, news, and commentary. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.